Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Harika. So in this video, I am going to show you how we can actually create a queue item. So by using the Orchestrator API calls with Postman. Okay, so for that we've been seeing the series with all the previous steps that how we have created and everything with respect to robot, and how we can start a job, how we can get all the processes from the particular folder, and how we can get all the folders and everything related to that. So if you have missed any of the videos, I would suggest you please go and watch the playlist on my channel, Orchestrator API calls via Postman. So let me just quickly drive you through that. So you can just head to my channel and the YouTube. I think my internet is a bit slow today. Just bear with me. Okay, here we've got the playlist. So under this playlist, you can watch Orchestrator API Postman. So here I have a complete set of all the videos that you can watch in order to gain full understanding of about Postman and everything regarding the Orchestrator API calls. So here if you can see the 8 videos are all there behind this particular video. So that video will give you to understand everything about Orchestrator API calls via Postman. So in this video, I am going to show you how we can do the Orchestrator API call to create a queue item in a particular folder. So for that, I'm heading to, as usual, we will be getting the details from the UiPath connector guide. So I'll leave this link in the description so you can check out this particular website. So let's start one by one. So we are going to add a queue item, right? So for that, this is the request that we have to do. So let's go ahead and do this request in the Postman. So I'm going to my Postman. So here, just give that particular URL, which will add the queue item. So we all know that you should replace this whole thing with your tenant name, right? So just copy it till here and paste it over here, right? So once after this is done, what is this method that we are doing? This is a post call, right? So it's a post request. So I'm changing it from get to post. So once after that is done, what's the next step? Authorization. So we all know that we are using barrier token, right? So the same barrier token I will be using, and make sure that the barrier token, whatever you're using, will get refreshed after 24 hours. So if you think that if it is giving you an output of unauthorized, so make sure that you run a new API call and get the new barrier token and paste it over here. So I'm using the same barrier token because mine is not expired, so I'm using that. And after that, the authorization is done. So what's the next step? Headers, right? So under headers, I should give folder organization ID. So just copy this and go over here, and under headers, just paste it over here, and I should give the folder, right? So what is the folder ID that I have, which folder I wanted to access the queue item from? So I'm gonna use the default folder, because if you see, I have created the queue under default folder. So I wanted to access the default folder. So now what I'm going to do, let's copy the ID of the default folder and paste it over here. So okay, so once after that is done, what is the next step? So content type application slash JSON, that is fine, and the body that you have to pass it into. So just copy the whole body of the, and just go to the Postman, and here under raw you can just paste the body. And once after this is done, you have to change the format to JSON, right? Because it's a application slash JSON, we have seen content type. So it's of type JSON. And here if you just see, just try to understand what we have given over here, so that you can customize based on your particular input that you wanted to send. So if you see the item data, whatever the data that you wanted to send into, so here the defer date and the due date, I'll shortly show you what this defer date and the due date is, and what is the priority. It's a normal priority. And name, this actually intends the name of the queue. So here it is a sample data unattended queue. So what I'm going to do, just copy the queue that you have in your orchestrator, so and just replace it with that. Okay, and the specific content, that means what are the fields inside that particular queue, what is the values that you wanted to enter. So name, okay, it's of type string, you are providing it as a type string. So here the name, I'll just change this as whatever you wanted to change it into. And the age you can just change to whatever you want. And the status, okay, so these are the fields inside this particular queue. Okay, so once after that is done, we are giving the reference field. So we all know that we have a particular field called reference field, right? So that reference field I'm providing over here, so you can just change based on your reference. Okay, so once after this is done, that's it. We have provided the required input for the queue. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on send. So what should be the required output? So here the response is, this is the response, right? 201 created. That means we are creating a particular queue item into the queue that's already there in the default. So this should be the response of the queue. Sorry, API call. So I'm just clicking on send. So before to that, let's go into the orchestrator and see how many transaction we already have here. So we already have 2 transactions. So this should be the third one after I click on send. Okay, so the response code is 201 and created, and we can see over here the queue definition ID. So just copy this value and keep it handy. We will need it later. Okay, this is a queue transaction ID. This we need it. Okay, and after that is done, the status of the queue is new, and this is the reference that we have created. I have said you right, the due date and the defer date I'll show you. So just come to this queue. Let me go to orchestrator. This is my orchestrator, right? So these are the defer date and the due date. If you just go further, so these are the values that we have provided, right, in the request body. So if you see here, 14 means it's a 219, so that refers to the postpone time. Okay, this you have to start it by this time, and you have to end it before 319. So that those are the values that you have to provide, and these will be the parameters, or the attribute names that you have to provide in. So defer date and the due date refers to that particular values. And after that, we have provided the reference also, that it shows as a pet store. So sorry, here it is. So it shows to the pet store. And what are the values that we have entered? Just go into the transaction view details. So here we can see the name, age, and the status that we have provided. So this is how we can actually add an item into the queue through orchestrator API calls via postman. And so I think this is clear for you. And as I have said, you just have to copy this particular queue definition ID, and I will tell you how we can use this particular ID and get the all values in a particular queue in the next video. So, and also we are going to see a lot more about assets and all in the future videos. And if you like the content, do let me know. You also do try it out on your side. If you face any questions, do let me know in the comment section. I'll try to answer your questions, and also if I feel that it will be useful for many people, I'll try to make a video on it. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more interesting content.